Whether this is your first time installing Oblivion, or you've decided to finally hop back on the nostalgia train, this two-part series is meant to be your one-stop shop for modding the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. The goal with this video series is to make sure that you get all the information that you need to know to properly mod Oblivion. This game is very old, released in 2006, and when we're talking about mods, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, especially because this game by itself is just extremely buggy. With that being said, the footage that you're seeing right now is simply just vanilla and messing with the render distance. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong. On top of that, just the simple fact of not installing a mod properly or not having your load order correct can drastically change the outcome of the way that your game is actually performing while you play it. Now, if you've ever experienced a sunny day with a black sky, or maybe you just downloaded a mod and there are random huge green boxes with an exclamation point on it, that basically means that the processes of you downloading and installing the mods were not handled correctly. You're either missing textures or some other thing that really could take a long time to figure out if you don't have any external help. Now, I know when looking at this video, you can see that it's already an extremely long video, but the reason for this is because I'm going through the entire processes of manually downloading from Nexus and installing into your Oblivion directory, as well as the main process, which is going to be installing all of our mods into Wrye Bash. Again, this is a complete beginner's walkthrough, complete tutorial guide meant to give you all the information that you need to know. And the mods that I'm going to be going through in this series is meant for you to further expand upon. So I want to teach you the basics and then have you go off and explore Nexus or any other sites. I prefer to use Nexus. But I want to give you the information so you can go and mod by yourself and feel confident knowing that you already have the basics down, and if there is a problem that shows up, you're able to solve it and handle it because you know what's going on. I do not want you to just follow along and just blindly receive a modded game without knowing what is going on or how it happened. Now, this first video, we're going to walk through all the mod managers that we're going to be using. We're also going to explain OBSE, which is a script extender that we're going to need for majority of our mods. And then we're also going to dive into the character body mods as well as the NPC visual changes. Now, I'm extremely excited to present this video to you guys and finally get this off my plate. Now, let's hop into it. First of all, most important, we're going to be downloading from nexusmods.com. So I would recommend going and getting a profile, an account if you have not. I have used this site for many years and I feel pretty confident downloading from this site. I'm going to only be downloading mods from this site, so you only need a Nexus account. We are also going to need an unpackaging application. That's going to be either 7-zip or WinRAR, whatever fits your fancy. They're both going to do the same thing that we need it to do. But whenever you choose that, you're going to want to also make sure you download the correct version for your PC. If you do not know the specs that you have, you can just come down to the search bar on your menu, your tab, and you can start typing about. Should be the first thing that comes up, and it should open up a system info page about your computer, and you will see the operating system right here, in case you did not know. Moving on, we're going to be downloading technically 7 mods, but I wouldn't really count this as a mod. It's a script extender, basically expanding the capabilities of Oblivion. So what that means is a lot of the mods that we're going to be downloading, or just a lot of mods in general, at least the good ones, are going to be using script extender. So it's pretty mandatory to have that being downloaded. If you've ever seen this website, you can get the same download that we're going to be doing here, but I'm going to be explaining OBS very soon. We're going to get 2 mod managers, Wrye Bash and Oblivion Mod Manager. And then we're going to have 6 different mods that all really do pack quite a punch, in my opinion. And I would say that they're pretty mandatory. Like, after playing with these mods, there really isn't any going back. So, before we actually jump into the mod talk, let us come into Steam here. I'm going to open up the properties of Oblivion. We come into local files, and I'm going to verify integrity of game files. That's just going to make sure that we had a clean download for Oblivion on Steam, and we'd have no broken files hiding in the background. Just makes this nice and tidy for us, wraps it up. And just a quick note about the install process of Oblivion. There have been many reports about modded games such as Oblivion being installed in program files x86, which is the default that Steam wants to install it at. But there have been many reports about the modded game not working properly. I personally have always installed Oblivion in program files x86. Haven't really had any issues that I could directly link back to this being the install. But that being said, moving forward with this video, I will have already done everything with the install being in my program files x86, which again is completely fine. No problems at all. I've done this for a long time. But in my new playthrough going forward after these 2 videos, because this is me from the future, I am going to be playing with the D drive install. If you want to move your install, you can come over here and just click move content. Super easy. But let me just show what's going to happen if you have installed your Oblivion in program files x86 versus installing it in a D drive. So when you're installing Wrye Bash, there's going to be a prompt between these 2 windows, and this is going to be that prompt that it's going to hit you with. It's going to be completely fine if you have installed it in program files x86. I just wanted to explain that if that comes up, you can just continue forward and move on with the video. Alright, very nice. From here, I'm going to go and click on Browse the local files of Oblivion. Okay, and I can exit out of here. So, this is going to be the directory location that Steam installed Oblivion at. And you can come in here and find the exact process of how to get there. But what we're going to do, instead of having to go through this entire process, is we're going to come in here. So you don't actually have to do what I'm doing. I'm just showing you that you could have backtracked to see exactly how to get here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Common. We're going to right click, create a shortcut. We're going to slap that right on the desktop. Blah, blah, blah. So instead of having to track through PC, local disk, program files, x86, Steam app, Common, Oblivion, we can just be like, blow, we're there. Okay, this is going to be very helpful in the future. And so, from the fresh install, we can straight up just go as our first task into the game. We're going to talk about the how this is not vanilla, because I already have a mod. I'm going to talk about that soon. We're also going to talk about the options, everything like that. I just want to explain that from install, it is always good practice to enter into the game and make sure that, for one, you can actually play the game, get into it, and nothing crashes. Without any mods already, we can go into the settings if you get to this point after exiting the sewers, which I recommend everybody to get a save point right before exiting the sewer, just because it's super helpful for modding. But straight away, without any mods, we can start making our game look a little bit better with just these settings. come in here to video, and I'm going to increase all the fades. Just going to focus on these brackets here, and yeah, that'll do just fine. With that alone, you can already see that the LOD has been updated. It's already a little bit better. Now let's hop in to talk about our first mod, which is going to be DarNified, and I'll explain why it has to be my first mod here in just a second. Alrighty, so we're going to start off by talking with DarNified UI, and there are several reasons for this. The first being that I currently cannot start my vanilla default Elder Scrolls Oblivion right now, because during the process of me uninstalling all of my mods and wanting to start fresh so I could give you guys a really clean and informative tutorial, pretty sure I did something wrong when it came to uninstalling DarNified and Oblivion Mod Manager. So because I don't have DarNified installed, I can't run Oblivion right now. So that's just a little disclaimer right now. If you're ever trying to reset all of your stuff, just know that if you touched DarNify or didn't uninstall it properly or delete it properly, this is going to happen to you. So I'm talking about DarNified first, because once we have DarNified, in my case, once I have DarNified downloaded, then we can continue with all of this. So the thing that we're going to need for DarNified is Oblivion Mod Manager, OBMM. And the reason we need Oblivion Mod Manager is because the file that we're downloading, DarNified's file, is a .omod file. So at the very end of the file name, it's going to have .omod. So anything with a .omod at the end of it is going to be created specifically for Oblivion Mod Manager. Oblivion Mod Manager is a very old, a lot older manager, but it is going to work just fine for DarNified, and that's what we need it for. So let's go to Oblivion Mod Manager, and I'm going to copy, Control-C that. I'm going to copy that title, click on Manual Download, and whenever that's finished, you're going to click on this file. You can straight away just click on this and it'll start the setup prompts for you. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm going to do with this file and every other file from here on out when we're talking about manual downloads. So every manual download that I'm doing from Nexus Mods, I'm going to extract it onto this unzipped desktop folder called Everything Oblivion. Okay, so let me open this back up. Let me open Everything Oblivion up. And I'm going to, again, very important that we have this unzipped Everything Oblivion file on our desktop. I mean, it could be anywhere else, but just the easiest way right now. I'm going to create a new folder inside of this. Control-V that title. So now that I've created this folder, I can box select everything in here. Click and drag all of the information into Oblivion Mod Manager, and now we have our setup. In case we ever need to re-download Oblivion Mod Manager again, it's already right here for us. So let's run this. Next, accept. Yes, that's where we want to install it. Okay, next. I'm going to create a desktop icon, other tasks. I'm just going to uncheck the bottom two and the top one. You can actually uncheck the top one. It's still going to work just fine with DarNified UI. Leaving these two boxes checked simply just opens a README and the mod manager itself. You can access this through the help, I believe. Yep, just like that. Right. We backtrack here, create another folder real quick, and this is going to be where we're going to have DarNified UI. So let's get DarNified UI. Okay, come over to here. I'm going to copy the title of the mod that I'm downloading. Control C. Going to click on Files, grab the main file. Perfect. And then I'm going to come in here. If you hold your mouse over the lettering in a folder and you single click and leave your mouse there for a second, it's going to allow you to rename that folder. Super quick, little tip for you. Going to box select everything in here, drag it over to DarNified UI, make sure that it is here, and we are good to go. I can close out of both of these, and let me show you how Oblivion Mod Manager is going to work. We're going to go over to load. And since I already know my file location, it actually even had it up. I can click on desktop, everything Oblivion, DarNified, double click on this, and it will show up. So you can highlight and activate, or you can just double click to have it start processing. You can name this whatever you want. I'm going to click install everything, and you can go through and read what you would like to install. I'm going to control click. I'm going to click and then control click that to highlight both of these, which means it's going to download everything that's highlighted. Oop. Control click and OK. Want the larger text, which it says that there. And then this is telling you for the next prompt that comes up to hold control yes to just cycle through. And we have it activated. Very, very nice. And we know it's activated because it has the blue tick. We can actually just close out of here. And now let us hop into the game and see if it is working properly. I'm going to go and reset to default because I do want to show what it looks like. It's not going to be completely default because we had just installed DarNified. I know DarNified is working because it has the vertical text layout instead of the horizontal. So we can further make sure that this is properly working by heading into the game. And we can actually see right away that the HUD itself, my health, mana, and stamina, my weapon and spell, they're all rescaled to be a little smaller. We go into our menu and we're greeted with a better layout here. Now, the reason the game looks so shitty right now is because of this. Let me go in here. Actually, and if I change the audio settings before I leave, it's going to pre-save that. I like how that looks. So let me exit game. And now let's talk about this options right here. So this is the default. We're going to want to switch to HDR. If a prompt comes up, you just click OK. Yes, we want HDR. I want all these boxes checked. And then for my PC, I'm going to set the video quality presets to ultra high. Whatever you feel comfortable with, proceed doing. After selecting one of these down here, it's going to automatically reset the resolution to whatever it thinks it should default to. But if you've already selected something down here, then we can go up and change the resolution to something that we prefer. I'm selecting this, OK, and let us play. And already, just changing the default settings and resolution makes everything start looking a lot more clean and smooth. It saved my audio presets, and again, DarNified UI is still working. So let's continue in and make sure that we're looking good. I'm going to get another save here so I don't have to do those prompts anymore. Very, very clean so far. DarNified UI is working perfectly. just the way we want it. So look at that. Awesome. Awesome possum. Good, 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 good. We got our big map. And we also have our small colored map that we also highlighted to install. Beautiful. So if we come over to this tab and this last panel here, which if you just want to see what's going on, this last panel is the DarNified settings, so you can customize the layout however you feel fits your needs. So that is going to complete this section for DarNified UI and Oblivion Mod Manager. We can actually just leave this closed the entire time and we're good to go. Let us continue. Okay, so before we get into Oblivion Script Extender, I just want to show something really quick, and I'm going to go through the process of how I did all this, but if I go into the data file, which I'm going to be transferring over, we can see that the first folder and the only folder is OBSE. The thing that I want to explain here is that when you're transferring over a folder that has the same name as a folder that you're transferring over into, so I'm about to show this, but I just wanted to explain something really quick, that when I transfer over this data file into here, since there's already a data file that's separate from here, it's going to automatically put whatever is in here in this folder. So since I've already done it over here, when I click into data, it shows OBS. If I were to select these three, we can see that I have these three right here. The reason we're not seeing data is because there's already a data thing here, and it doesn't make another data folder. It just puts whatever was in data into the already existing data folder. So I just want to explain that in case like you're trying to figure some stuff out and you're like, wait, where's the data folder? That it's in the already existing data folder. So click in here, and then there's what transferred over in. Okay. Now let us continue on to actually install OBSE. All right, so just another quick note. Another reason we started with DarNified UI is because when you go to the requirements of any mod that you're downloading, it'll say, if it says this mod does not have any known dependencies other than the base game, then that means this mod is completely fine to download with nothing else needed. Even though a lot of mods need OBSE to function properly, DarNified is not one of those. So that's why we started with DarNified. So let's talk about OBSE, Oblivion Script Extender, which is basically what the name implies. It is a resource that expands the scripting capabilities of Oblivion. Basically, like I just said, a lot of mods use this mod, I guess you would say, to actually function themselves. So that's why this is a very important download. It doesn't necessarily, just like I was explaining, have to be your first one, but downloading DarNified or this first, it doesn't matter. You could do either or first. So again, no requirements. A lot of mods require this mod. We're going to go down and read what is going on here. You can install with Vortex. We're not messing with Vortex at all. I want to show you how y'all all can manually install things and feel confident about it. That's what this series is about. There are 2 manual installs with OBSE. If you bought the non-retail version, so if you got Oblivion from anywhere other than Steam, which I don't know where that would be, you would follow different instructions, and those instructions would be here. But overall, the process, I believe, is going to be the same. You're just transferring over, I believe, one extra different file. But since we have the Steam version, I'm going to be doing this process here. So let's go over to Files, grab our manual download. Okay, we're going to open it, and we're going to do a few other tricks here. Okay, we're going to open up everything Oblivion, create a new folder, and I I already had done this because kind of already made this video, but you're going to post your title in, and we are going to box select everything here, transfer it over, make sure we have it, and we do, so we can exit out of this. And just like we are going to be instructed on the Nexus page, which again you should be doing, you should read the instructions for any mod that you're downloading. I'm going to walk you through it though. What it instructs you to do is to have your Oblivion directory open. And what we're going to do is we are going to left click and then control left click, select these items here. And this is, again, if you have downloaded the Steam version. Let me just double check my list, make sure I'm getting it correct. These are all correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold control. I'm going to click and I'm going to, you can see it says copy, and I'm going to just drag it right into here. And it copies over all these files. Again, like I was saying just before we had started this, you can see that data is highlighted. It didn't create a second data folder, but that means that items were placed into this already existing data folder. Great. And that's going to be your installation for OBSE. Just another little quick side note for everybody. Going to the permissions and credits, you can see right here from the author's instructions, just in case anyone has ever seen this website, this download does the exact same download that we had just done on Nexus through this file right here. So you could do it either or. I've just, some people have seen this website and they just want to say they both work the exact same. And this is going to lead into our next topic, and that is downloading Wrye Bash. This is going to be our next and main mod manager that we're going to be using. Okay, always good to read up. Good. Get that information in your brain. We're going to manually download this. Give it a second. I usually like to see the little icon pop up. And we have the install tab open. Okay. So I kind of want to talk about this particular little page right here. Whenever, a few days ago, whenever I was first remodding Oblivion, because I took quite a long hiatus from playing Oblivion, or any Elder Scrolls game for that matter. Whenever I first did this download a few days ago, Oblivion actually did not show up for me. Even though before I did this download, like hours beforehand, I had opened up Oblivion previously and already played it, so I was very confused why it didn't show up. If you've played Skyrim, this is also going to show up. But what I had done was I basically just reset my computer and tried to re-download Wrye Bash, and it then popped up on this first page. So what we're going to do is I'm going to uncheck everything except for Oblivion. You can leave them checked for your liking. If you've played Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 4, these are also going to be checked. I'm going to uncheck everything except Oblivion, just to make it simple for me. Next, I do not want an extra location to be installed. Everything should work just fine, so I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to install. And a blam, bloom, blam. If we close this with the README check, it's just going to open up the Wrye Bash general README, instruction, glossary, everything you need to know about this program. Good stuff. Okay, so in order for us to know that we had Wrye Bash installed correctly, we go to our Oblivion shortcut here. And we can see that a new folder was added, Mopey. And also, I know this is kind of far into it, but OBMM is Oblivion Mod Manager, so that's how you would know if you installed OBMM correctly. It also shows up here, but we are focused on Wrye Bash, which if you click on the Mopey file, it has everything Wrye Bash inside. So we're then going to click on the Wrye Bash exe. which is then going to open Wrye Bash. This is going to be our main mod installer. For all our manual downloads, we're just going to be dragging files into here. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's move on to the next topic. Right, just hopping in real quick, making sure everything's nice and tidy. Nothing's crashed so far. We're in the game. Hell yeah, nothing's really changed, but we're about to change that change of not being changed. You know? This is about the part where we gotta start getting excited. You know what I'm saying? Because we can actually start adding in all the mods that we want to add in. But before we get too excited, let me explain what's really important going forward, and that would be the character model. Some people would argue that it's the textures. I do not argue that it's the textures because the textures all could be imported, added in last. I mean, really, it don't matter. Because I've done it before. I've done everything else, and then it was like, oh, look, texture mods, and they worked after I already had my mod list, okay? This mod right here is prime material. Good stuff right here, I'm telling you. All right? So, big red letters, meaning that you should probably read what you're about to download. That's why I'm here. I've already read all this. I've already done this, and I'm going to go through that with you. NMM, I believe that's Nexus Mod Manager. I don't know if anyone else remembers Nexus Mod Manager, but I've been modding for a long time, and I remember that there have been multiple other mod managers before Vortex, and you don't really need to follow that because that doesn't really even exist anymore. So the next thing that it says is that if you have that, to remove it, but we're not focusing on none of that. Install body replacers, OBS, and Blockhead first. We've already just installed OBS. Body replacers I'm not going to touch on because the next mod directly after this is going to actually touch on a body replacer, but it's directly connected to this one. So if you do want body replacers, I go find your nude stuff first and then come back and get started on what we're going to get started on. Okay. So you would do all of this first, and then you would install this mod, and then this mod's patchers. Okay. Well, what's this here? What's this here? Nexus requirements. This is the first time that we've actually seen this on this video. Blockhead is required. Again, we've already got OBS. I already have Blockhead pulled up. Since Blockhead is what is required, let's look at Blockhead. And it has no other known dependencies, so we are good to go. File, manual download. And we're also going to finally see the first 7-zip actual program page that should pop up. We've been seeing the other page popping up. Okay, new folder. I'm going to put this everything character. Let's not do a name that long. Let's do character body mods. Okay, so all of my character body mods, or anything having to do with the character body mod, I'm going to stick it in here. Okay, new folder, and we are downloading Blockhead currently, so I'm going to name this new folder Blockhead. I'm going to come over to my extraction tab, going to hit extract, come over to the 3 dots, desktop, everything Oblivion, character body mods, and Blockhead. Click OK. You can double check that it is going to the correct location. Press OK. Double check that it did extract, and we're good to go. There's Blockhead. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open OBS. So I know we've been creating these files and having a neat location for them, but before we actually get into this Wrye Bash, I want to explain something. So these are all just to be neatly separated. You know, this is an installer. This is DarNified, which is a part of OBMM. So I'm just keeping that there. And then this is the script extender, which is honestly completely separate from anything else. So I have these separate. This folder, I'm going to have a list of different mods. So this is an individual mod that I'm going to be transferring into Wrye Bash. The reason I'm talking about this is because if I were to open this up, just how the zip gave it to me, if I were to box select both of these and put it into here, I mean, I could do this, but it's not going to work. Wrye Bash is not going to accept that. What Wrye Bash needs to accept a mod and install it is it needs a main archive folder, so just one folder that you're dragging in that holds all the content that you've downloaded. This is a very important step when it comes to manually downloading on Wrye Bash. Something that I had to learn myself the hard way, but it is something that is needed to download. So we're going to select this folder that we created ourselves. We're going to drag it in with everything that it has that we've extracted and downloaded. I'm going to press copy. This shows up here. I'm going to left click, right click, and install. A green box shows up. So usually when you come over here and install something here, you would come over to the mods and have a box to check off. With Blockhead, there is no box we need to check off. But there is still a way we can see if Blockhead is working correctly. Because what Blockhead actually is doing, it is allowing us to install the character mod that we're about to install. But if you go into the race selection, I can use S and W to zoom in and out. So that's how we know that Blockhead is working correctly, which is pretty sweet. We can now move on to our next topic, which is why we installed Blockhead in the first place and why we need to be getting excited. And that's for this character overhaul. Okay. So we're here. I know it's been a lot of information and a lot of talking and a lot of not playing Oblivion, but once you get past all of the basic bitch shit, then we can move on to actually understanding what we're doing going forward. That's the point of all this. It's to get you familiar with what you're actually doing rather than just saying, hey, do exactly what I'm doing and you'll get a modded game. I'm trying to teach you the processes of how everything's working. And then on top of it, I also want to kind of just chime in. This is going to be the last manual install that I'm actually going to do with you guys. I believe I've given everyone enough information thus far to where you can just do a manual download yourself. I'm going to do this one again as the last one because I only did do one Wrye Bash installation before this, so let's get two under our belt to feel comfortable, well, a little bit more comfortable. All right, so we got Blockhead installed in here. We know Blockhead's working because we did the WS thing and then did the movie. We're going to go into files. Main file here is what we need. And then let's just also take, since it has so many files here, let's just also take a look real quick at the optional files. So, I mean, it's good to install the patches and everything, but with the next one that we're going to be downloading, I mean, I haven't personally seen like long eyelashes, you know what I'm saying? if you run into a problem, then maybe, yeah, you should come back and re-download this. But it is a good idea to, look at the optional files and see what kind of patches that they have for the mod you're about to download. Anyways, let's get down to it. Okay, main files, manual download. We already have Blockhead and OBSE. Download, and it's going to take just a second because it's an overhaul. It's changing the vanilla faces of all the races. This is also changing the NPCs. So it's some good stuff. Before I get too excited, let me Control-C that, copy that title. Okay, everything Oblivion. These are getting out of hand and unorganizational right here. Okay, character mods. We have Blockhead. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to Control-V my title in there. And then I'm going to box select all the content and move it over into this. And then it's going to do its little thing of downloading. Good shit. We're almost there, okay? Finish line is almost there. All right, after this download, I'm going to be just telling you what mods I'm going to be getting next, and then we're just going to get to the point that it's already being transferred into Wrye Bash. I'm not going to do this whole process anymore. I think we can get it from here on out. And I'm going to get back to you guys once this download's done. Okay. So just to finish for me, I double check that it is correct in there. So I close and I move and I open. Even if it has like a README or multiple stuff or anything, as long as it has a singular archive folder that you are dragging in, it will be all gravy, baby. Give it another little sec to do as do. I believe another pop-up is going to come because, again, it's an overhaul and it's changing a lot of the game, making it more visually appealing for our ojos. Okay? That was eyes in Spanish. Okay, just getting some water. All right, it's about to finish its thing. And once we hop into Oblivion, after we actually press install and make sure to check our thing. Actually, I kind of want to show what happens if you don't come into this mod and not check your box. So we're doing our install. I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to show you what it's like if you don't check your boxes on the bash. All right, we're good. So again, right click, install. We got all the bytes coming on, getting all the bytes. Bring it out. Go. All right, I'll be a little bit more patient. Getting a little too wacky cracky. What am I even saying? I need to probably sleep more. Anyways, so we got 2 green boxes. That's pretty hardcore. So again, I'm not going to check this box because I want to show you what happens when I do not check the box. It's loading. We're in. Look at that. Look at that face. Not completely make-outable yet, but okay, so let's discuss what's going on here. This here and here and here is simply because we did not check our box. That's it. You think something crazy could be going on, but then you're just like, oh shit, I just didn't do that. Come on, man. It's so simple. Just once these things are explained, then it's like, you know, then it's like a breezy easy cover girl. Look at that. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about, okay? So it's good to check. There's definitely still some improvements that can be made, but that'll be done with our next mod. Oh yeah. So it's always good to check both male and female. That's looking pretty gravy, baby. Okay. Yeah. See, as you can tell, there's still a seam line here. But again, let's just cycle through and see what's going on. Argonian. It's looking pretty smooth right there. Very nice, very nice. But again, still can be improvements. So let's get these improvements. All right, real quick. So again, just gonna describe to you that this is going to be the next download, and I will see you once I have it transferring into Wrye Bash. I've created my seamless folder. I've got my extraction folder ready to go. Okay, well, not completely ready to go, but you know you get what I'm saying, okay? All right, we're gonna do the process with the things and the transfers and the bars. Yes, we got data. Yes. All right, baby. Let's send this over and see what we're dealing with here. Good stuff, everybody. Should really feel proud of yourself at this point because this is years of my failures. Okay, not years. I'm over exaggerating there, but you know, saying, dude, this is my hardship coming to. I mean, everybody's hardship. This game. Come on, this game. I think we all understand how ridiculous this game can be. That's why I love it so much, though. Like, you know what I'm saying. Because you know we're going to have a badass series after this. You know that's going to have to happen. At least a few more episodes. Okay, continue. What do we got? No crash? Hell yeah, no crash. Oh, shit! Sorry, I'm getting hyped, because look at that shit. Alright, here's what's going on here. For one, we got that neck seam looking really, really smooth right now. Two, there's a body mod attached to the mod we just downloaded. That's why I wasn't going to talk about going and looking at all those other body mods, because there's a lot, okay? And it's kind of just like, at a certain point, a waste of time, because you got this mod right here that just gives you a badass body with a top and bottom. I don't have to worry about getting flagged while playing this game. and it's literally a seamless mod for the mod we just downloaded. All right, let's go in here. Let's change the. Let's see what else we got. Let's check out the males because we've only seen the orc. Look at that. You could barely even see that seam. That's awesome. Look at his afro. I mean, the thing with like the elves is like you change their age and then their skin tone kind of changes and it matches a little bit better. But I mean, come on, this is like 2006 game, right? Dude, look at that. Textures flowing into themselves seamlessly, just like the mod says. Okay, I'm done stroking this mod. It works. We're happy. I'm an Argonian now. Well, actually now after exiting, I'm still the orc, but you know. You know what's going down. We're getting more mods. What's up next? Alrighty then, so these next two mods I'm going to basically showcase together, and they're going to be the last two of the video. I know this video is getting long, I am very sorry, but if you already gotten the process down, it's going to be menu alt tab, crash fix, and WalkBlessed. But I want to explain what both of these do. So let me just download these real quick, and I'll show both of them at the same time. Okay, so we're at the final stage here. I've got both menu alt tab crash fix and WalkBlessed. I just want to show also real quick that if I were to click and uninstall here, you see how it does change color, but also with that plus gone, that means that it is uninstalled. So if you were to then delete this file, it would be deleted correctly. You just have to make sure that before you delete anything that you uninstall it first. Alright, so let me hop in the game and show you what both of these mods are doing. Alright, so first of all, base vanilla game on computer. If I am to alt tab, like to go to my second screen here, or to just get to my desktop, you can still hear the music playing, but if I were to click back in, the game automatically crashes. Just happens. It's even moved and resized my folder. If only there was something to stop that from happening. Well. Oh yeah, so if you double click, it'll open the file location. Just so you know. So let's hop back in here. Right? Let me just alt tab real quick. And then come back in. Because that's what that mod does. That's an essential mod right there. I'm sorry, but if you don't agree with me on that, like you're crazy, that you want to be crashing your game every single time you alt tab, like you're talking to people on Discord, you don't have two screens, and someone sends you a message, and just because you want to alt tab and see like what they said, you gotta crash again. Now, get your stuff fixed. And then I'm also gonna show what's happening here. So I'm in third person. I have my weapon sheathed, and if I look, my entire body rotates with the direction that I am turning my mouse. Right? So we're going to exit out of here. And we're going to activate WalkBlessed by installing this you know what I'm saying? Alright, so let's see what this is actually doing for us. It's pretty sweet, I've got to say. So, I turn to the left with my mouse, and nothing moves with my character model. That is pretty damn sweet. I've got to tell you, it actually, like, the controls, like on moving your character, like it actually has, you can instantly tell once you start moving. And I mean, just moving the camera, like not having to hold down whatever you have to go in a third person just to see, like, you know what I mean, the front view. So another thing, if I were to so if I'm looking this way and I press W to move forward, it starts moving me the direction that I'm looking, which in my opinion is like the correct way that it should be done. So that's super sweet. And then the other super sweet thing is that when I pull out my weapon, it changes the camera view. How it's like kind of like floating behind your head on like your left side, and then also when you're moving, because like if I want to attack this, you know what I mean, wherever I'm looking I want to attack, so it makes sense. Another thing to note here is that if you are to double click Z, it says it on the download. If you were to download the file and you were to read what it says above the manual download, if you were to double tap Z, it switches sides. Super dope. Super, super dope. There's something with if you hold Alt Z and double click. Okay, so let me double check here. I believe this is what it's happening. So I hold Alt, double tap Z. Yep, that's what it does. So if you don't like, that's really dope. If you don't like this camera movement with your weapon sheathed, then if you Alt double tap Z, then it changes to be the normal way, even with your weapon sheathed. I prefer it to be the way that they created the mod because this is super badass. But yeah, that's what WalkBlessed does for you, for your game. I'm gonna change race here real quick, and we're gonna say later with the Argonian male. Look at him. He's so beautiful. Look at him. Big shout out and thanks to everybody that's made it this far in the video. I really appreciate it, and I really hope that I've taught y'all something here. Maybe even just a little bit. And I hope that I can help you, you know, further your modding progress and getting your game to your liking, because this game's awesome, and it's one of my top 5 favorites. Please consider giving me a like and a subscribe, as it's going to help my channel out tremendously. I just started this channel, and I really do hope that I can keep growing with it, and I can keep making more of these videos. But I'm gonna need y'all's help, so anything y'all want to contribute would really be appreciated by me. Um, Also look forward to some more videos coming out for Oblivion and the part 2 of the series that's going to just show my whole mod list and talk about the mod list order just a little bit. All right, well, thank you again, and peace.